Hello, everyone. And I want to say, first of all, a huge thank you for joining Vision Australia and Feelix Library for the National Simultaneous Storytime. A tiny bit of housekeeping up front. Because this is a webinar, I've got all of the cameras and microphones off, and I do have some slides, but I will be audio describing everything on the slides. So it's not necessary to have to see them. I also have some sounds that I might use. And when it's time to turn the page, I am going to meow like a cat. So I would like you to join in with me if you would like to meow with a cat, meow like a cat when I turn the page. And before we begin, I would like to take this moment to acknowledge the country that I am on today. I come to you from the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. Vision Australia acknowledges the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the land on which I bring you the story time today. We pay our respects to the traditional owners of this land and their elders past, present, and emerging. Recognising their rich history over tens of thousands of years as the original storytellers of this land. We commit to telling First Nations stories and supporting the traditions of oral storytelling, just like today. So, brilliant. Let's get started. My name is Kylie, and I work at the Feelix Library at Vision Australia. Feelix kits are a great way to share the magic of reading with children with a print disability. In each kit, there is a picture book with Braille overlay, a toy that relates to the story, a pathway player that has an audio version of the story, and a tactile handbook that is a summary of the story, but one that you can feel. Now, in preparation for National Simultaneous Storytime, we made some instructions for creating your very own tactile handbook out of things that you might find just lying around your house. So these were on the event registration page. So if you've missed it, head back there and you'll be able to make one after listening to the story today. Or you can email us at felixlibrary@visionaustralia.org and we can send them out to you. So here we go. I'm here this morning to read you a wonderful picture book for the Australian Library and Information Association's National Simultaneous Storytime. What even is National Simultaneous Storytime, I hear you ask? Well, let me tell you. National just means all across Australia, and simultaneous means at the same time. And we all know what a story time is, right? It's reading a story. So let's put this all together. National Simultaneous Storytime is when all across Australia we read the same story at the same time. It's pretty cool when you think about it. A whole bunch of other kids are reading the same book today. We all get to join in and do the same thing, which is really nice. There are kids in Darwin or Tasmania or Melbourne or Perth or Alice Springs, and they're all reading the same book today. So, on that note, let's get started, shall we? So, the book that has been chosen for this year is The Truck Cat by Deborah Frankel and illustrated by Danny Snell. So on this slide, I have the front cover of the book. That's the outside. we can see the author and the illustrator's names. And the picture shows a man in front of a big truck in the background. And he's got shorts and boots on and a moustache and a yellow trucker hat. And he's crouching down to scratch a cat on its nose. The cat looks like it is enjoying being scratched very much. He looks like he's doing that thing that cats do when they bump you on their head if they really love you. So, next page. Do you know what I have to do? Meow. Are you ready? Time to turn to the next page. So this is the inside title page. And it's got the word, the title, nice and big, the truck cat, and it has the author's name and then the illustrator's name. And the picture right in the middle is a Polaroid photo. Now, a Polaroid photo is one of those old ones that an instant photo. You have to kind of shake it to get it to work. And the photo is of the truck driver from the front cover, and he's holding the smiling cat. And they're both in front of the big truck, which is also in front of the big pineapple. They both look very happy in this picture. And it looks like it's a holiday snap. So that looks cute. He's holding the little cat in a nice cradle. So, meow, time to turn the page. So, let's begin the story. Some cats are house cats. Some are apartment cats. Some cats live on farms. Some live in the city. But Tinker was a truck cat. And Tinker lived everywhere. So on this page, there are 4 small pictures of cats. There's a grey, stripy cat asleep on the welcome mat outside a front door. I think that one's the house cat. And then there's a big orange cat, and he's got his back to us, and he's looking out a window at trees and tall buildings. I think that one is the apartment cat. Then there's a white cat with a dark face and paws, lying on the grass with a big hen behind him and 3 little chicks in front of him. That must be the farm cat. And then the last of the little pictures, there's a cat next to a bin, a green bin, and it looks like he's going to jump on top of that bin to catch a pigeon that's perched up there. So I reckon he must be the city cat. So at the bottom of those pictures, you can see Tinker, and he is walking along the grass and his tail is up, straight up. And it makes me think that he looks quite curious about things. Tinker is a calico cat, which means he has a kind of stripy orange and brown coat with white paws that are like socks and a white band of fur around his neck and face. He has a very expressive face, but let's find out more about Tinker. Meow. Time to turn the page. Here we go. Oh, fantastic. So, he lived in brick motels with beetles in the bathtub and rest stop huts with rats in the rafter, in depots dancing with dragonflies. But mostly home was the cabin of Jakob's B-double tri-axle truck. And here are 4 more little pictures that show Tinker in a few different places. He's crawling along the side of the bath, hunting those beetles. He's sitting on a park bench at the rest stop. And Tinker looks a little shocked because he can see 2 big rats running along the rafters at the top of the rest stop. And I would be pretty shocked too. And the last two pictures of Tinker in a warehouse with lots of boxes, and he's looking at a dragonfly, and then he's reaching up to touch it with his paw. And below these four small pictures, you can get just an idea of how big your Cub's truck is because it stretches across both pages of the book. There are 8 big wheels and 2 big truck compartments and a driving cab at the front. And Jacob is there, and he looks very small against the truck, and he's holding the door open, and Tinker is just kind of strolling towards the door to be let in, as cats do. Sometimes when you open the door, the cats want to go out, but then they'll sit there in the middle of the door. Cats are funny like that. All right, are you ready? Meow, meow. Time to turn the page. So, Jacob drove the truck to make a living. He drove it all around the country, learning the strange new landscape on the way. Tinker sat on the passenger seat, keeping an eye out for interlopers. On this page, the pictures show the inside of the truck cab. Jacob is sitting in a seat with his seatbelt on and his hands on the steering wheel, and his yellow hat is behind him, sitting on top of a suitcase. Jacob is looking at Tinker in the passenger seat and smiling. And Tinker is looking back at him with his ears up and listening. Now, I found the sound that a big truck makes when you're inside the cab. Would you like to listen to it? I'm going to play it right now. Here we go. You can hear the gears changing. Oh, it would be so noisy driving a truck around all the time. So, are you ready to meow to turn the page? Here we go. Meow. Next page. So, in the truck, there were different things, depending on the day. Sometimes apples, sometimes pears, sometimes lots and lots of eggs. Your cook had to drive very carefully because otherwise those eggs would all get scrambled. So these pictures show a big sky with clouds, and below that, Yakub's truck is travelling along the road. You can tell that he is driving very carefully and slowly because behind him there's a long line of cars stretching out behind the truck, and it looks like they can't get around him. There's a VW Beetle, a van, an old-looking car, a ute, and half of a blue sedan, all stuck behind the slow-moving truck. But he's got to take care of those eggs. All right, next page. Are you ready? Meow. Here we go. Other humans didn't always understand Yakub, his jokes, his words, his silences. There are 3 medium-sized pictures here, and it's of Yakub at a table talking to people. And in the first drawing, Yakub looks quite animated and like he's trying to explain something. He looks excited. And there's a man and a woman next to him. It looks like the woman is whispering something to the man. And Tinker is rubbing his face on the leg of the table underneath them. Then in the next drawing, the woman has left, so it's only Yakub and the man, and Yakub is still talking and excited, but the other man is resting his head on his hands, and he looks kind of bored. Tinker is sleeping under Yakub's chair. Then, in the last picture, Yukub is alone, just with Tinker, and he's giving him another scratch on the nose, which Tinker is enjoying. But those pictures make me feel a bit sad. It makes me feel sad because it seems like Yukub is lonely, except for his cat, Tinker. So let's all meow together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Meow. Next page. Here we go. Tinker knew that when Yukub was quiet, he was busy remembering, and that when Yukub was done, he would switch off the radio and hum tunes from his home country, or tell Tinker about the food his Nina used to make way back. Tinker also had an old home full of mewling siblings, and there was a mama cat way back and a warm basket. So Tinker and Yukub remembered their memories together. In these pictures, you can see a wide open road that they are traveling down, and Yukub in the driver's seat, looking out into the distance, the way that some people do when they're remembering things. And then in the next picture, you can see Yukub as a small boy, and his Nina is helping him mix something up in the kitchen. In the passenger seat, you can see Tinker also kind of looking out to the distance like this. Like he is remembering. And the picture that explains what Tinker is remembering is a big basket with a big cat and lots of little kittens. The baby kitten Tinker is curled up in a ball, sleeping on top of his mum. All right, let's meow again. It's time to turn the page. Are you ready? Meow. Here we go. Then at night, when the truck stopped to rest under the Milky Way, Tinker sat on Yakub's lap and purred. This picture's quite dark, and it shows the truck at night time, surrounded by the sky and the country. There's only one light, and Yakub is sitting at the table with Tinker in his lap, and they're both looking up at the sky in wonder at the twinkling stars. Now, I have the sound of a cat purring here. I love to hear cats purring because they sound just like almost like a machine, and you can feel them vibrate when cats are purring. It's so adorable. So let's have a little listen to what it sounds like when a cat purrs. Ah, purring makes me so happy. Because I think it means that the cat is happy. So that makes me happy too. All right, let's give another meow. And it's time to move forward. Here we go. But one morning, someone else arrived. A little white flutter, asking Tinker to play. And he did his best. He leapt, he lunged, but butterflies are tricky for even the daintiest of truck cats. And so this picture shows Tinker coming out from underneath the parked truck and following a butterfly up and over a rubbish bin. And he keeps chasing the butterfly right off the page. Time to turn the page. Here we go. Here, there, over, under, here, there, over, under, here, there, beep, under. Oh no. In these pictures, it shows that Tinker is following the butterfly over some grass, through a wooden fence, and up a tree, and through a wire fence with a hole in it, and then across the front yard and over a roof, over a bridge and through people's legs, and then there is two medium-sized pictures where Tinker is running through traffic to catch the butterfly, and the butterfly flies under a car, which beeps its horn very loudly. This page makes me so worried for Tinker. I worry that he's in traffic and he might get hurt and that he's lost and your cook can't find him. Let's see what happens. But before we do, I also have some sounds of traffic. So this is what I think Tinker would have sounded like, would have heard when he was chasing the butterfly. Are you ready? Oh, it sounds so busy. Let's find out what's happening to Tinker, shall we? All right. Meow. Time to turn the page. Here we go. Wheels whooshed and flashed, but Tinker lay still until cool hands lifted him from the road, held him gently, and carried him to the car. The hands belonged to Mari. So on the first page, you can see Tinker laying very flat and very still as wheels rush past him fast. And the wheels are kicking up leaves and they're going so fast. Then, in the second picture, there's a nice lady with brown hair and a small smile and a yellow shirt. She has Tinker in her arms. Tinker looks unsure, but pleased to not be on the road anymore. So, meow, time to turn the page. At Mari's bakery, there was yogurt, which Tinker didn't like, and a fish head, which Tinker did like. So Mari gave him another one the next day, and the next. But Tinker worried about Yakub, alone in the truck, with just the eggs to talk to. He worried about Yakub all summer long. So on the first page, you can see there's a bench table with pastries and cakes on the top that Mari has made. She's crouching down to see if Tinker likes the fish head that she's put in a bowl for him. And he's walking towards it, so I think he does. Then on the next page of pictures, there are 6 little pictures where Tinker is worrying about Yakub. In the first one, he is approaching some customers who are sitting at a table in the bakery. And the second one, he's sitting in the window looking out. There's a little boy and his mum sitting next to Tinker, but he's only looking for Yakub. In the third picture, it's a close-up of Tinker at the window, and he's got a very worried expression on his face, with his eyebrows kind of squishy and pointing down. The last 3 pictures zoom out, so you can see Tinker in the window as the shadow, then the bakery from across the street, and then the street from across the town. Meow. Next page. Yakub worried too, from town to town and back again. And then one day, he smelled something familiar. And these, oh, I haven't changed the page. Here we go. There he is. He's worried. And in these pictures, you can see the big town roads. And there's Yakub's truck traveling along the bottom right-hand corner. And then there's 2 bigger pictures on each page. And the first one, Yakub is driving and looking over to the passenger seat with a worried and kind of sad expression, probably thinking about Tinker, I would guess. Then in the second picture, he has his arm resting on his open window as he's driving, and a little smile on his upturned face. And I bet that's when he can smell all the good things to eat. So Here we go. Meow. Time to turn the page. And this time, well, yay, here we go. The warm spices of home leading him to a bakery window where someone familiar purred against the glass. Yakub ordered everything on Mari's menu to celebrate. He said it was just like Nina's cooking, maybe even better, because it came with company. There are 3 pictures on the first page. The first picture has Yakub in his yellow hat, looking excitedly through the glass, and he has his hand ready up and ready to knock on the window. And then the second picture is Tinker standing on a table inside the bakery and rubbing his face against the window. And then the third picture is Yakub inside the bakery, holding Tinker up in the air, and Tinker's little paw is touching Yakub on the nose. On the other page, there are 2 pictures, one big and one small. The big one shows Yakub sitting at a table that has delicious food all over it. He has Tinker in his lap, and Mari is standing up next to him, chatting away while he tries the food. The smaller picture shows some of the yummy-looking food from Mari's bakery. There are round pistachio-flavoured treats, a loaf of bread that's been broken in half, some heart-shaped biscuits with a red icing, and a pie with a cherry on top, and some tasty-looking filling, and then a loaf of bread that is knotted into a circle. Delicious. I bet that does smell good. So, are you ready? We're going to turn the page again. Meow, meow. Here we go. Next page. I think we are almost at the end of the story. Lorikeets landed in the lemon tree, and pigeons pecked in the petunias. But Yakub and Mari kept talking in the same language, understanding each other. Tinker waited at the door to be let out. He was not impatient whatsoever. In these pictures, Yakub's truck is still parked outside of Mari's bakery. There are lorikeets in the tree and pigeons on the footpath outside the bakery. There is the shadow of Mari holding a cup of tea and Yakub's trucker hat. They look like they're in deep discussion. At the front door, there's the shadow of Tinker as he waits to be let out. Right. Are you ready? Meow. It's time to turn the page. Here we go. Now, Tinker isn't always a truck cat. Sometimes he's a bakery cat. Sometimes a sofa cat. Sometimes he's a picnic cat, and sometimes train cat. But wherever he goes, Tinker is certain of one thing. There are 4 pictures on this page. In the first one, you can see Yakub and Mari hugging while Tinker is eating one of his favourite fish heads. Then, in the second picture, Mari is relaxing on the couch, and it looks like she's got a baby in her tummy. She is scratching Tinker under the chin, and his eyes are closed in happiness. Then, in the third picture, Yakub and Mari are having a picnic outside with their baby. Mari is tickling the baby, and Yakub is patting Tinker. In the last picture, the baby is a toddler and is pulling a toy train along on some string, while Tinker is reaching out to touch. They all look really happy in these photos. So, we're up to the last page. So our last meow. Let's make it a good one. Are you ready? Meow, meow, meow. Next page. So now the last thing we said on the last page was But wherever he goes, Tinker is certain of one thing. Here we are. Home is everywhere. In this last picture, Yakub is standing there with his yellow hat on, and he's holding a plate of bakery treats. Mari is sitting down at the table, looking up at Yakub happily, while she holds a cup of tea. And on the floor, the toddler is playing with a big pot and wooden spoon, while Tinker, the everywhere cat, looks on. It's so beautiful because no one is lonely anymore. Now they're a big family together. And that's the last page. I love this story so much. Thank you so much for listening to it with me. It makes me feel so many things every time I read this story. I get so sad and lonely for lonely Yakub at the beginning, and then I get so worried and scared about Tinker when he goes missing. And then I get so happy when Mari finds him. But I still feel sad for Yakub because he's out there in his truck alone. So when he finds Tinker at the bakery and it brings Yakub and Mari together, that's when I get so happy I sometimes cry. So that there, the truck cat, is the story that children all across Australia are reading today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you enjoyed me describing the pictures, and I hope that you were able to make a tactile handbook about the truck cat so you could join in. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today for National Simultaneous Storytime. It's been so much fun. So we've recorded this story time, so we'll be sending out a link to the recording very soon, which means you can watch it again and again. Thank you so much, everyone. What a lovely morning. Meow. Bye. Happy National Simultaneous Story Time.